Hey guys, what's going on? This is Jason from the Jason&Jabari Gaming. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I'll be taking in a few different characters for this Summoner of Pain week 9. As you can tell, I have Black Widow, and the strategy for this basically was to bait out special ones. There's a couple instances where I had to bait out the special 2, and we'll get into it as we progress further along. Um, Ultimately, this challenge was significantly easier, in my opinion, than some of the previous challenges. I really struggled with some of the previous ones, but with this one, I just found that if you remove dexterity, depending on the character that you're bringing in, then it wasn't really as big of a problem. But with Black Widow here, she gains these crit buffs, I believe. So that actually worked out in my favor because it kind of gave Ghost power when I wasn't able to because I was faltered due to her dash back mechanic, which she does a lot, by the way. So basically, she's getting a lot of shock debuffs on her, which is causing her to melt pretty quickly. I did not realize how potent Black Widow's shock debuffs actually are and how well they stack. I don't necessarily use them, or excuse me, I don't really use her ever. As you can tell, she's an R4. So I don't really use 5 stars anymore, to be completely honest. I do have a series coming out that I'm going to be doing since they haven't started the war season just yet, that I'll be having some fun wars episodes where I'll be using just 5 stars and R2 6 stars. Those are some of the rules. But back to the fight at hand. So as you can tell, Ghost is still melting. I'm still trying to bait out specials. There was a few times that she used her special 2. I think there was 1 or 2 times that she came really close to getting a special 3, but she ended up throwing it in the nick of time. But preferably, like I mentioned earlier, I would like to bait out the special 1. Due to both of their animations, Ghost actually will have a bar or 2 bars by the time I'm done throwing my special, almost every single time. And I've also noticed that when you hit Ghost with a special, or maybe this is just with my characters, I don't know exactly, then more often than not, I found that she immediately wants to throw one of her specials. And you'll see that time and time again if you're paying attention to that. So once I kind of picked up on that, I intentionally would push her a little bit in order to throw her specials. So almost think of it like a taunt mechanic, so to speak. Now I can't prove that, but here, if you just pay attention after I'm throwing my specials, you'll notice that almost immediately Ghost will start to throw her specials. So other than that, I mean, there's really nothing else to this fight. I think these longer fights is more about concentration than anything. I'm kind of OCD, so I I don't really have a very wide attention span. So I guess that's ADHD. My bad. But anyway, uh, yeah. So I'm OCD as well, but no. Yeah, so I really had to buckle down and focus in order to drop her, because after a while I'll do a dash back too quickly or something like that and she'll catch me. This is not my first attempt or second. I don't even know what attempt number this one actually was. It wasn't actually that bad. It was probably number 3 or 4. Once I got the hang of it, it wasn't really bad with Black Widow, because she does so much damage with those shock debuffs really, really quickly. And again, this is a R4. So But yeah, so on the other fights that we're going to be getting into here shortly, I really had to buckle down and focus because they were slightly more challenging due to the damage output. But there's really nothing else to discuss in this. It's just a matter of rinsing and repeating and staying focused, in my opinion, of baiting out the SP1s and sometimes the SP2s. So we're getting close here. And I don't know about you guys, but I have to really focus towards the end more so than the beginning because I tend to mess up a lot more for various reasons. If that's sweaty hands, there's also a lot of lag. I'm an Android user, so we know about the parry issue, but we also Android users have a lag. Like it lags really hard, and it can really catch you and mess you up. So we have a couple different setbacks that we have to play around. It's not that you can't, because obviously you guys will see that I did, but it can be rather annoying and frustrating at times. So last 2%, I'm really just trying to bait out that last special. She finally gets to throw it, and then I'm like, okay, this 7-hit combo won't kill her, so let me throw the SP1 because I was determined not to give her another chance to kill me. So, all in all, it wasn't too bad. 314 hits. You guys will see the mastery setup that I used for utility at the last fight. But moving on to Dr. Doom, he does shock damage as well. But this ghost is stun immune. So you'll also notice that I will never try to heavy attack, which normally does a passive stun. But yeah, that won't work. That'll just get me wrecked because this ghost hits really, really hard. I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't even surviving 5-hit combos from her. So anything that you would receive damage wise from her would be extremely punishing. So notice here, she's getting really close to a special 3, but Dr. Doom has the mechanic on his SP1 where he steals power. I realized that, and then it gave me 2 bars of power since she was at 3, and then I was able to release my special 2 immediately, which was unblockable. And I've also noticed with Dr. Doom and facing Ghost, when I throw my special 2, she holds her block, which is a good thing because I can dash in and hit onto her block while she's receiving that incinerate damage. You'll see it time and time again. Just pay attention to when I actually do throw my special 2s with Dr. Doom. Ghost will turtle up every single time. Here comes the time right now, and just watch. She's gonna hold her block, and then I'm able to dash in and start hitting on her block a little bit, in order to so she can receive more damage. Because if she does her dash back, then she will turn those into passive furies, and then she'll really hit really hard. Doom normally is a tank anyway, or excuse me, naturally is a tank. So I'm sometimes holding the block and allowing her to hit into my block however many times for an opening, because notice she does a lot of dashing back. And again, you get faltered, so that means you're automatically going to miss her. There's a couple instances, I believe, where I just swipe at her or whatever, and I don't get punished, but I would not recommend doing that. That could be a really quick way to get you in a lot of trouble, if not dead. So again, there was another SP2, and once again, she just turtles up. That was an accidental intercept. I'll take it, but that was not intentional that time. My hands did get quite sweaty a lot of times, and here she caught me. That was my error, but I was really close to another special 2, so I dropped it. to get back that adrenaline healing. And once again, you'll see me hitting into her block. I actually thought the run was over at this point, but I continued to go. I don't know, maybe I was stubborn or whatever the case may be. I had found my rhythm and my groove, so there was a slight chance that I could pull it off, but the chances were obviously pretty slim from the looking at the health pools at this point. Um, if you noticed it a little bit ago when I was just talking, I swiped at her, and there's the lag. That is the lag. You're getting lag, and I think that was about a second or two, and that's enough to throw your entire game off, and for the computer to be in your face smacking you. So, hopefully, Kabam fix that issue soon. But as of right now, you just have to play around what you have to play around. I mean, you can make excuses all day, but it's not going to change anything until they fix it. So, and yeah, Doom, I never went to an SP3 because that would have gave him a Fury buff, and I really did not want to deal with giving her power. I did this Doom fight actually before I did the Black Widow fight. These are not actually in order. I don't really think the order matters. But yeah, so I didn't want to have him gain any buffs, basically. So I had removed dexterity, and my Mystic Dispersion, I believe, is 4 out of 5. So on all of her buffs that are expiring, I'm actually gaining a little bit more power. And once again, I throw another SP2, she'll turtle up, and yeah, I'll hit into her block. So ultimately, with Doom, it's just a little bit longer, more lengthy fight than with the Black Widow, because the damage output, it's not consistently there. It is there, but it's not as consistent, because depending on the playstyle and how aggressive the AI wants to be and how comfortable you are with A, intercepting, or B, taking block damage in order to create an opening, it will depend on the time duration. So she's getting close to being down. She's at I think, what is that, 16% now, and I'm at 8%. So I know that if I just keep on staying the course, that I'm going to be able to drop her. I hit into her block a little bit. I do that quite often. And that's to give them a little bit of extra power, because again, like I said, I wasn't comfortable at this stage with giving myself a buff for her to gain power, because actually she did get to a SP3 on a lot of my attempts with various characters, and that frustrated me because she just wouldn't throw her special. She would throw it for a while, and then, the AI just changes up their whole game. So it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to give you that opportunity. I'm going to take it myself. So here, we got down to the wire actually, but as you can see, we closed it out. So moving on to the last fight, we have my R3 Sorcerer Supreme, and my Doom is R3 as well. He's Sig 200, and this is basically where you just need to beat her with a Mystic character. So Black Widow Deadly Origin, that can take care of your mercenary. Doom is a metal, and he's a villain. He's also a mystic as well, but I decided to go with Sorcerer Supreme. This was actually my very first fight, so I guess I just uploaded them completely backwards, but still, the order really is not important. But with Sorcerer Supreme, after this fight, you'll see my setup that I had in the utilities exactly. I think this was the easiest, and I'm going to tell you why. I think she was the easiest because number one, she does armor breaks. So Ghost, even if she dashed back, which will still give you the falter, she cannot go invisible or whatnot. So that was a good thing. And then number two, I told you guys with Doom, he's pretty tanky, and I was taking a lot of block damage. Well, actually, with Sorcerer Supreme, I was doing the same thing. And with her heals, her Ruin heals or whatever that is called, I wouldn't have to worry about not gaining everything right back. So you'll see she's smacking really hard while I'm blocking, but I'm not concerned at all as long as I have one of those passive heals on me. Any damage that I receive through block automatically recovers. So I'm not concerned at all. I'm just playing my game casually. This took a lot of pressure off. So anyone who has Sorcerer Supreme, I would recommend this setup and build because it takes off a lot of pressure in my opinion. And she also in when you're close to Ghost, she is nullifying the buffs as well, so you're gaining power from that as well. And like I said earlier, I was running the 4 out of 5 Mystic Dispersion, so I was pretty much at a special most of the time. That being said, I think that Sorcerer Supreme, the damage sometimes is there, as you can tell with that with 3 armor breaks. Obviously, that's gonna hit decently hard. So if as long as you're staying, I wouldn't say super aggressive, but I say casually aggressive. I think that's how I'm playing her here. I'm not really. There's no sense of urgency to beat her. I feel like I'm completely in control of this fight. I know I took some hits earlier, but I've definitely found my groove at this point, and I've told myself, okay, listen, I can take as much block damage as I want as long as I have that healing passive. And actually, I could have evaded half of her special ones, but since I was so comfortable and confident that it wouldn't matter, I just literally just blocked a little bit and then backed up. So and you could do the same thing. It really would not matter. And as long as I'm keeping that armor break on her, my damage is pretty decent. And yeah, that this was by far the most comfortable fight that I had. It was not the fastest, but I do think it was the safest. I don't think there's a safer option out there for anyone. But I could be wrong. Leave a comment below if you think there is a safer option. But I think I've stated my reasons. I can block all day, which will create an opening eventually. I can do the armor breaks and continuously bait out specials because of high Mystic Dispersion on my end. I can pump out the specials, and obviously if she gets whacked enough or blocked hit enough or whatever the case may be, then she'll throw her specials. And again, if you're noticing, this is the same deal with Doom as well as Black Widow. Once I'm throwing a special, then she's pretty much releasing her special. The only exception that I found was with Doom when I would throw an SP2. That is when she would turtle up, and I wouldn't give her an opportunity to throw a special because she'd give me too much time in my mind, which was probably only equates to about a second or so, to dash over to her and block hit her so she can eat that incinerate damage. But yeah, so guys, let me know what you think. Hopefully this helps somebody out. I know there's a lot of videos that people post about Summer of Pain within the first day. I tried to get this one out as quick as possible. Editing these videos take a little bit because I'm still learning it. There I should have been punished. Luckily I was not punished because that could have probably killed me. But yeah, if you guys are interested in me actually talking as opposed to just playing some dope beats most of the time, let me know. Or if you rather I go back to music, because we talk a lot in our podcast that we have. So a lot of people were asking me why I only do music up to this point, and I told them because I do a lot of talking in the podcast episodes. So that is the reason. So here's me showing my setup in the utility or the proficiencies, excuse me. But yeah, That's everything, guys. Thanks for stopping by and thanks for watching.